There were certain times when I saw, like when I was standing somewhere, that I could have stood there for longer, or when I was sitting watching I could have sat for longer. But what was interesting in the performance, I don't think we really did that. Even to the degree that we'd done it this week, that we didn't find the space, do you know what I mean, to just simply be. And it's one of the most difficult things in front of an audience, to just let yourself be. Because what we did during the week was so very sweet, was we did this thing where I watched you and then you watched me, and we just very simply went backwards and forwards, and it was actually, I don't know if that was your experience, but it was impossible to find that. Not with the weight that we've had it this week. Not so that it resounds in the space. I didn't find that. And that's what happens, I mean, when an audience comes out in front of you. I mean, and it's quite an amazing thing to deal with. Spaces that resonate, do you know what I mean? Spaces that are alive are really, really important. And that's why I find it incredibly hard to like perform in a theatre. Because theatre, I think, as I understand it, theatres have been built in as neutral as possible, as possible, so that people can, all different people can. And I don't find that, you know what I mean, but spaces that resonate, and that usually they're older spaces with some character, like the hall today. Light is very important, the kind of the sense of warmth.
It was interesting in this space though that we always worked with the door open. And in a way that I think that really affected how we related to the space as well, didn't it?
Yes.
It kept something sort of moving in and out, and an awareness of outside seemed to be important.
We went into this space to work together, and then we opened the doors, and then the whole way how to enter the outside kind of was opened up for us, and we actually used that in the scores that we worked with to actually move from inside to outside. And then the sense was that when we went to other locations outside, that we had a foundation. When we went down to the beach the first time, and you said that because of the light and everything, you just felt completely ready. I honestly wouldn't have done anything there if you hadn't pushed us. And I don't think Simon would have either.
No.
I responded initially, I think, and then he came in. But when we actually started, it was the easiest thing in the world.
It's often the other way around, isn't it? It's often me responding to what you're doing.
You
know.
Yes.
And then it kind of things build out of that. But that was a moment where it just felt. I just kind of felt, there was so much going on that was in our favour.
Right. You said, "Oh, the light is so fantastic." We were there, but I hadn't even really noticed. I mean, I was loving being there. But you actually brought my attention to the light, and all of a sudden that I became interested. What's really extraordinary for me is if we hadn't done anything, if we'd just been there, I would have enjoyed my time there. You know what I mean? It would have been a nice stroll on the beach. We would have chatted and all that. But because we actually started to work, it was very beautiful. And I think you see it in the footage. I felt as if And it happens for me when I move. I become very much more receptive to my environment and receptive. It's like a process of becoming more sensitive and receptive. That I could actually, like the wind, like the light on the skin, and all of this suddenly became, you know what I mean? And then we'd come out of it into talking together or just being together. But then we'd drop back into this zone, like dolphins or something. We just dive back into this other world of heightened. You know what I mean? Sensitivity and awareness, and then we come back.
Yeah. It's quite a childlike relationship with the environment. You know, you see that much more in children. Funnily enough, those two little boys that run past are kind of in the same zone as you are. You know, they're kind of, one of them sort of looks at you and then he's on to his own thing. And they actually are, they almost echo your movement, or I don't know if you're echoing them or it's just chance, but there is a kind of, and they are so in that moment. If there's a sort of way of drawing out the experience to make it kind of a sort of more universal experience, it's this idea of really kind of being in the moment and kind of seizing the moment. You know, I mean, a lot of the time we live our lives not like that. We're either thinking ahead or we're thinking behind, we're reminiscing or we're planning. But actually that thing of just going, well, this is what it's like here and this is it. You know, and because what it is for me is to capture it, you know, on this camera, is that it's not, you know, you can't stop time, but there is a little, in a way, you are kind of, you're sort of drawing it with you, aren't you? And an awareness of that there will never be a moment like this again. This is it. You know? Here it has felt very much like a conversation between the two of you. And it has that kind of, you know, and then there is that sort of, even though it can get quite kind of heightened at points, also the movement can really kind of come right down to just quite a sort of minimal conversational moments. And I think that I've really liked that, because I think it also makes everything seem quite, well, it roots it in being very real. You know, it's not us kind of creating this kind of amazing effects, you know, because there's, you know, light and this and that and people dancing, and you know, it just feels like it's very naturally coming in. And somebody said to me actually after the performance, oh, it's just like we're having a conversation. You know, and you could see that, I think.